What's up, guys? Welcome to today's class. Super excited to be hanging out with you guys for the next hour or so, cutting some hair. Let me know in the chat if you've been a part of this classroom for since March, since we got quarantined, and then we got back out, and now, I don't know. I see all of you guys in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Really excited to share with you guys this wavy, curly, layered haircut technique. We're gonna talk through curly hair and just have a great time in the chat. So what this is all about is about growing a community of hairdressers. I can see all of you guys, the OGs in the chat. So if you've been watching this since March, type OG in the chat. If you've been watching since April, type OG in the chat. If you've been watching since last week, type new. Write new in the chat. If you're new, everybody can say hi to you, get to know you, post where you're from, where you're watching from. Please share this class with all of your friends out there. If you're on Facebook, just hit that share button. At least hit the like button. That way the algorithm starts working in our favor, sharing this with as many people as possible. Adele OG, good to see you. All right, let me see if I can do this. Also, let me throw this up there. Nope, not that one. That's a weird one. There it is. This class is brought to you by my friends at Minerva Beauty. We're also live on their Facebook as well, so thank you to those of you that are joining me on that. MinervaBeauty.com is the best place to get salon furniture, to equip your salon tools. It's just really the best. Fastest shipping, best prices. My whole salon is filled with Minerva stuff. Everything I've got here is stools, cutting stools, everything is Minerva Beauty. So go check out MinervaBeauty.com. Oh, that one. All right, cool. Linda, what's up? Good to see you. So those guys, please go support Minerva Beauty. They've been supporting free salon education for a very long time. So go give them a little bit of support as well. All right, Lisa, welcome. Good to see you. See if I can get some of your comments up here on the screen. Where's my mouse? There it is. Lynn saying welcome to all the new people. Joanna, good to see ya. Abby. We got Jessica from Denver. Celine, very cool. Kathleen. Tammy. Wait, where's this? Oh yeah, there we go. Oh. Furumi, what's up? Good to see ya. Sheila, good to see you. Elizabeth. Nayad? That's a cool name. I think that's how you pronounce it. Man, we got people from everywhere today. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of this class. I've already got the mannequins sectioned out, so let's get over there and start talking about it. Right here, turn the music off. We'll get back into the music when we blow dry, guys. Otherwise, we're going to have some fun. Let me hit record. Here? There we go. All right. So I already sectioned off the mannequin. So one thing I want you guys to realize is that we always go over, I have a very basic sectioning that I like to do with the head. Those of you guys that have taken my fundamentals virtual hands-on class, which is available on our app, FSE Now, which I'll show you guys in a little bit, and I'll talk about a little bit more. Make sure you download the latest version of FSE Now. Go directly to the App Store and download it. We just added a bunch of new features, including virtual hands-on classes over Zoom and all of that. So make sure that you guys are on the latest one. And let me see. Now I can see your stuff. All right. So if you guys are not familiar with my basic sectioning, I'm going to show you guys real quick. So here is the mannequin head with no hair, because it's easier to understand sectioning when you don't have hair in front of you. So basically, my goal is to always separate the different densities of hair. So that's the first thing. So when I look at the head vertically, I want to separate the density that's here from this hairline up to the top here. And somebody called me Samvia in the chat, which was pretty hilarious. I saw it earlier. And that's funny because I've never been called Samvia before, but Samvia is a good friend. And I actually learned this tip when he was in my studio filming, and it changed the way that I cut hair. So I want to talk about, first off, hairdressers. We learn from each other. And as soon as you feel like people are stealing from you, that's when I believe your career is over, because you think you've invented it all. So for me, I haven't invented anything. Everything that I've learned from somebody, and it's inspired something that I think about, and it's just changed my life, and I like to share that with you guys. So with this sectioning, I learned this little bit here from Sam Villa. When you're working with densities, you've got the thickest density here, and then you've got, when it gets up here into the hairline here, you've got this hairline. So this density is all the same, and then you go into the back here, and this density here is all the same all the way around. So what I like to do is separate the back from the side, and then also from the bang. So you've got the same density here, same density here, same density here. Now, the other thing about this is that you're working with the curve of the head, right? So this separates the front and the back. So when I'm cutting the back of the head, I want to know that every piece of hair that I have in my hand is going to live in the back. When I'm cutting the side, I want to know that every piece of hair that I'm cutting is going to want to live on the side. That is what is going to give me more success behind the chair. Now, what do we do? And this is where the question comes up. What do we do if they have a side parting? Because this is very symmetrical, very easy to kind of break down, but now they have a side parting. How do I section this off? Well, here we go. And we're doing wavy hair today, and I want to be very specific with that because Danielle from my salon was very, very kind to perm a mannequin for me so we could create a beachy kind of wavy effect. I'm not an extra curly hair expert. I like cutting extra curly hair, but I don't want to just pretend to teach it to you guys. I would be experimenting, which is what I always do because I don't have a giant extra curly hair clientele. But I do love cutting curly hair, and I understand wavy hair very well, so I'm going to teach that to you today. The differences between cutting straight hair and cutting wavy hair, or curly. You could call it curly. It's going to be pretty curly. So, but it's not extra curly. So there's a big difference in my mind in creating shape, the way you go about it. It's all different. So Danielle permed this thing up for me. It's got a nice wave to it. We're going to cut it. We're going to blow it dry and kind of accentuate the waves. And I'm going to talk about the way that I would layer this as opposed to cutting straighter hair. So, sectioning, back to that. Now, the sectioning that we did is the basic sectioning that I just showed you guys. The biggest difference here, let me zoom in a little bit, is that because we're working off of a side parting, I'm going to part the hair on the side right off the bat. I'm also going to have a little bit of an asymmetric feel to this fringe area. So we come to the point here in the fringe, and then it parts off down to the hairline. So we're still going with the same concept that the hair is going to fall in the front, the hair that's going to fall on the sides, and the hair that's going to fall into the back. That's still the same concept. So see if I can extreme close up. There we go. So we've got our side parting here. Then we split it off just like that down to the edges. Then right here on the side, which let me flip over. Right here on the side, this is going to be our heavy side. So when you part the hair on the side as a side parting, you now create an asymmetrical feel to a haircut. When you part it on the side, you've got this much density that you're working with here, and you've got this much density that you're working with here. That's a big difference between the two. So what I do is I break this section up in half. This is the hair that's going to live on top right here. On this section, this square, and then I've got a square here on the side from parietal ridge down that's also going to live on the side. But that's all part of that section. That's all going to fall on top of each other. So I need to be aware of that because elevation is going to play a key role in how I remove some weight from this haircut. So if I know where the top of the head is and I know where the bottom of the head is, then I'm going to be more aware of how my elevation is affecting it, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, type yes in the chat. If it doesn't make sense, just keep listening, and I'll try my best to get better. So, all right. So we're pretty much, that's the breakdown of everything section-wise. So we've got everything in the back, we've got the front, we've got the sides. Now, how do you go about cutting it, and what is different when you cut curly hair and when you cut straight hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the head this way so I don't get in your way. We're going to start working on interior layers. The outer perimeter, the exterior part of this cut, I'm going to cut last. I always do that for the most part. You guys know that if you've been watching me for a while. So that shouldn't be new. Let me go back here. Now, awesome. I see all of you guys. I can see you guys all in the chat here. Those of you guys that are new to the show, that have never seen it before, I've got a big screen in front of me so I can see all of you guys. This is kind of how we do our Zoom classes as well. So if you guys aren't on the FSE Now app, if you download the app and you become part of our virtual cutting club, it's $50 a month. You get a class every single week, sometimes two. We meet over Zoom and I watch you guys cut hair. I have a TV screen in front of me so I can see you guys. Today I see your chat, but on those classes I see you cutting hair. And then we make adjustments and we work every week on a different topic. So that's on the app. And what was I going to say? So I can see you there. I also, back here, can see your chat on the screen there too. So if you guys have a question, the best way to get my attention is to type Q and put in your question. So a Q and then your question. That way, as I see the chat and I learn this, again, didn't make all this stuff up. The Live Streaming Pros, great website, great YouTube channel. I got my countdown timer from them. And this, why reinvent the wheel? So, but it's just the best way for me to be able to see your question come by because there's a lot of chat going on. So, so just try to do that. Awesome. Love to see it. Lynn, thank you so much. It's love having you in the classes. It's great. All right. So let's get into it. Get this out of the way. All right. So we're going to work interior layering. So I want to work from the inside of this cut out. Let me back this up a little bit. There we go. Actually, I'm going to make you guys a little dizzy because I'm going to lift this camera up. There we go. Okay. Spray down the hair. Now this mannequin was permed, so it's a little rough. All right. So now, and the hair's falling out a little bit. It's okay. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together. Okay, so what do I mean by working interior to exterior? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot. So those of you guys that were in my Zoom class yesterday, I see some of you in the chat. This will look familiar. We're going to take vertical sections and we're going to pivot across all the way around the head. So right here, from right center back, because this is all falling in the back, it's not going to have an asymmetrical feel. So I'm going to pivot vertical and then take out, and then every section is going to come from this midpoint right here. So here to here to here to here, cutting round layers following the round of the head all the way through. Oh, wait, I got to move the chat so I can see you guys. Which haircut are you doing? Ashok, I think is how you pronounce your name. So what we're going to be doing, we're cutting a layered haircut on wavy hair. I want to go over layering because a lot of times we cut layers a little too short in wavy hair, and also unbalanced because if we have an asymmetrical part, we tend to cut hair the exact same on both sides, and then we get an unbalanced effect. So I want to go over that as well. So right now, we're cutting round layers in the back of the head, then we're going to move into around the face and how we cut that. So vertical section, and I'm only worried about occipital bone or occipital bone, whatever you guys want to say. So right from here and up. I'm not worried about the hair underneath. I'm going to cut that blunt. I want a nice thick feeling on the bottom of the hair. I just want to layer this interior. So I'm going to lift the hair up. Light tension. So I'm using the wide teeth of the comb. I'm not holding the hair real tight in my hands. We're going to come up just like this. I'm going to move this camera centered. There we go. And up. And then I'm going to cut straight across my fingers. Now you could point cut as well if you want to create a little extra texture in there. That would be fine. Just like that. So question was, how about the people that, this is 2 good questions. I'm seeing another one pop in. All right. So first question is from Robin. She's saying, how about those people that switch their part? So Robin, this is the thing. If somebody switches their part, I always recommend that they cut their hair in the middle, because you can't go so far off to one side and cut their hair and then expect to be able to flip it to the other side. It's going to be way too heavy. The lightest point is to basically take it in the center, and then when you flip it, it'll be the exact same on both sides. It'll still be a little bit heavy because it wasn't meant to be cut that way, but there's different techniques that you can do to kind of counteract that. Hopefully that makes sense, Robin. And then the second question was from Lisa. And Lisa's saying, when doing curly hair above, Lisa's got some cool hair. When doing curly hair above the shoulder, how do you keep from getting the Christmas tree shape when it dries? That's exactly what we're kind of going over today. So I want to really focus on that Christmas tree effect and not getting that, just because that's not super modern feel. So now I took a vertical section. Focus. All right, took a vertical section. Now I'm going to take and pivot and grab a little bit more. Grab a little bit of the old section, bring it up in my hand, and now I'm going to push my guide over to the new hair. So just like this, push the guide over, and I want the guide to meet halfway with the new section. Just like that, here, and we're cutting. So now, pull a little bit of the old away. And guys, I see a bunch of questions coming through. This is the hardest part because I can't read them and cut at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll go back through it. That's why it's important to put a cue with your question, and I can just fire through a bunch of them. It's another benefit to being part of the cutting club, because you will get it's a little more one-on-one. I can actually hear your question and see what you're doing and answer it a little bit better. It's just easier, but I'll do my best to get through the chat. So here we go. Working through, cutting that blunt line, comb the guide over halfway to the new hair, and cut. So my elevation, actually I get to see on here, my elevation is straight up from the floor. So I don't want to put a number on it because I think it's confusing. So just straight up. So pull the hair up like that. So some call it 180 degrees because of school. That's like the world is flat kind of feeling. If you're basing it off the floor, it's 180. For me, it's off the head shape. So, and I'm working on a curve. So all of this, in my opinion, almost creates a concave effect, even though people will argue. Because when you comb this now down, you start to watch it fall, it gets really short to scooped long almost through it. So you could go like this and cut it, or you can just hold it straight up like this and cut it. You still get the same line that you're looking for. Now, if you hold it like this and cut like this, that's different. That's a different story. So people define too many things with a simple mind of like, if I just do it like that, that's the only way to get that. There's a million ways to get the same exact result every time you cut. I was talking too much. I don't even know if I did cut it. I think I did. Okay. Almost to the side now. So we're working our way around. Even though I could take that in there, I don't want to go too much. Because if you're trying to cut a consistent line horizontally, you can't over direct the hair too much. Because it'll start to throw off your line, depending on the line you're going for, I guess. So now here, shift that guide halfway to the new hair. There's my guideline, and cut. Cindy, yes, it's live. She might be watching the countdown. Okay. Cute. If you over direct the crown area, will it give you a shorter top and a longer back, almost a shag cut? For sure. Yep. So if you wanted, you could easily over direct it. You could also, so let me show you what that means to some of you guys that might not understand. Alti James, I'm working on it. I can't see everybody's question. I only see a few at a time. And trust me, I'm not ignoring your question, so you can keep posting it. I just don't see it. So we're coming up like this, and I'm working through. Now, if I over direct it more towards the front, look what happens. Then I cut even more length off of it, so I would get shorter layers. You could also, if you wanted this to be more of a shag effect, you could scoop it more and cut concave, kind of like I was saying, short to long this way, and then that would give you that effect as well. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Yes. All right. So there we go. So now, when you take a look at what you've cut, and you take a horizontal section, you lift it up. That's some of the hair from the other side. You lift it up and you look at it horizontally, you'll see a nice rounded edge to the haircut. That's the other side as well. So it's got a nice little rounded, kind of beveled feel to it. That is the round section that we're creating. So we're cutting rounded layers around the back crown area. Now we're going to continue, opposite side. Body position doesn't change at this point. So I had everything here. I was combing the guide up and bringing it up. Now I'm doing the same thing, taking a section, but now I'll pull the guide to me. So instead of pushing it, I'll pull it because I want to comb the right side the same exact way that I combed the left side. All right, Lynn, we'll see you later. It's good to see you. Okay, so spray it down a little bit. All right, Facebook's going strong today. Appreciate you guys. YouTube looks good too. Just hit that share button if you can. Class is free. Just cost a like or a share. Just go ahead. All right, so vertical section. Grab a little piece from the opposite side. Let's see if I got enough guide in here. Yep. So now I'll shift. So same thing. So now combing the guide towards the new section. Now, why would I comb the guide towards the new section? What does that do for me? It's going to diffuse the guide a slight bit, right? Not too much, but a slight bit. But what it does and how it benefits is that now my new section is basically coming directly off the head. If I didn't do that and I comb the new section to the guide, I'm over directing the new section and now the new section's longer. So every time I cut the new section, it would be longer. So the whole side gets longer and longer, and then you end up with one side longer than the other. How many times did I say longer? Just checking. Should I practice on wigs as well? So this mannequin, yes, these are practice mannequins from Pivot Point. I was saying in my virtual class right before this, I love mannequins because, and I was reminded of it last week because I worked on a live model. We did a Paul Mitchell shoot. It was great. I had a lot of fun, but at the same time, the model dictated a lot of what was about to happen. And when you're trying to practice a technique or teach a technique or whatever you're trying to do, and the model is really deciding how fast you do it, she's hungry, there's whatever. So there's just a lot that goes into it. So I like taking my time and working at my own pace and taking cleaner sections than I would at the salon. Like, you look at athletes, people like artists, people that get really good at something that they do. And what happens is it's because they put in the right type of practice. So if I practice combing this hair the wrong way and just rush through it and I do 1,000 haircuts, that doesn't make me a better hair cutter. Now, if I take my time and I comb the hair the right way and I put myself in the right mindset, then when I get a client, then I do it the right way because now I've practiced and went over it the right way. Now all of a sudden I'm getting better and better because I'm consistent. So you just have to think about things that way. No one gets better at something by doing it wrong. You have to do it. And I'm not saying that I know all the right ways. I'm just saying every single time I work on cutting hair, I work to try to do it better than the time before. And I try to learn ways that make me better than the time before. So, and that's what we do in the cutting club every week, is we work on things, not full haircuts. We work on things that make us better week to week. Here we go, combing out from the head. Hello, Sharon from North Carolina. Lisa, what are your favorite products to use on curly hair? So some of my favorites, and I'm going to try to grab them, are Tea Tree Lavender Mint from Paul Mitchell is some of my favorite ones. But, to be more general about it, I like using a cream and a gel at the same time. A really light hold gel and a light hold cream, or even a little more firm hold cream, because the consistency of those two things work really well together. And then something like a leave-in conditioner to help keep the hair nice and soft and moisturized, because curly hair tends to be a lot more thirsty than other hair. So, all right. Still working off that pivot. Couple more sections left. What are your guys' favorite curly combos? Why don't we post that in the chat? So when you do curly hair, or if you have curly hair, what's some of your favorite things to do? Thank you, Maria. Glad you're learning. Working through. I got one section left on this layer technique. Last bit. Not using any product, huh? Altia, does any curly people agree with that? Asking for Altia. No products on curly hair. What is a good shampoo for oily hair? So if you have oily hair, one of my favorite, let's say regimens is to work something that's going to be more deep cleansing, because oily and moisture are two different things, right? So I like to go in there and do a deep cleanse. So something that has more of like a higher pH to cleanse the hair. And then, and then go in. So like, let's say, I'm just going to say in Paul Mitchell terms, like a shampoo 2 or a shampoo 3 removes like some minerals, like, and it goes in, does more of a deep cleanse. Then do that once a week and make sure you just get a really good scrub, or even twice a week, and then switch to moisture products after that, because it tends to take a little bit of moisture out of the hair. So that would be kind of my recommendation to my clients is go in, do that deep cleanse, then switch it off for 3 days, use something moisture-based, and then go back in and do that deep cleanse. Let's see. All right, so here we've got our layers worked through. And again, I'm not worried about the length so much. I'm going to cut this length at the very end of the cut. So now we're going to work on our weaker side. Here we go. Let me zoom in on that. All right, so take that out. I love all of your guys' product choices, product tips. So here's what I'm going to do. With the side sections, a lot of times what I like to do is disconnect a little bit of this area because, and this is something that you guys will learn from me as well, I love working with disconnection. It makes the most sense to me. If I lift all of this hair up and layer it the same way I did in the back here, what's going to happen is it's going to be so much lighter because this has this much density and this has this much. So it's a lighter piece of hair. And if I elevate it the exact same, now all of a sudden I'm getting a more broken effect around the face, and I want it to be nice and full. So I'm going to take half of this right around that parietal ridge area. I'm going to bring it up, and now I've got a couple choices to make with this section. I'm probably going to cut it condensed because it's not that thick. I'm going to elevate it to create layers, and I need to pull it a guideline. Now, do I want these layers to fall balanced horizontally? Do I want them to fall more diagonal back towards the back? Do I want it to be lighter in the front, heavier in the back? Or do I want it to be lighter in the back, heavier in the front? Those are my three options. For me, I want this to be more of a balanced feel. So I want these layers to fall nice and even. And what I'm going to do, let me back out the camera. Oh, wrong way. Back up here. So Mary is saying, I have curly hair. All thinning techniques are bad. On my hair, I cut my hair myself because every time I tell them no thinning techniques, they just come up with another one I've heard of before. Well, Mary, that's a sad situation. And I don't think everybody would do that. I think some people, and maybe you're happy cutting your own hair. That's totally a preference for everybody. But I don't think it's that hard to find a great stylist as long as you're really looking. But you have to put in the work to find them, unfortunately. And that's another reason why we're building the Cutting Club, because soon enough, you'll be able to go to stylistlocator.com and see who's in the Cutting Club and find somebody that we work together on a weekly basis to get better and better. And you won't have those experiences. But unfortunately, there are those experiences out there. I would push you to look harder. Instagram is a great way to really see if somebody is talented enough or not. And see what type of hair they work on. If they don't have much curly hair on their page, but you can't just walk into a place and expect to get, a great haircut. So unfortunately, I hate to hear that. And it's part of the industry that, is a bummer because some people ruin it for other people because they don't study and learn. So here. Now, I'm going to cut balanced layers. Like I said, I want the line of the layers to be horizontal, not diagonal at all. So I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to keep my finger parallel to this parting, and I'm going to grab a guide from the back point. I'm also going to over direct this up and over the head and cut it condensed. So if you look here, I'm going to go over the head like this, about the middle of the head, and cut these layers condensed straight over top of this guide that I'm getting. So let me zoom in. I'm actually going to show you guys the overhead view of this. Okay. So now, grab the hair, bring it over top of that section, and I'm going to go in and point cut a line. There we go. I'm going to recomb. Okay. So now when this falls, so what I want you guys to see at this point is how hair works. So the fact that I've got the hair and I'm over directing this. One second. Guess it's my headphones, not the battery. I've been live for 3 hours now, so this is what starts to, you start to lose power and everything. There we go. Do you have any recommendations for a good lefty scissor? I do, because pretty much everything Mizutani, so I recommend Mizutani scissors. I'm going to have blonde hair all over in my hair. I recommend Mizutani scissors. I've developed one with them. This is my scissor. I don't think it's going to show you. I'll show you in the other camera. But so it's on our website. It's on our app too. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the new update of the app, you can shop on there now. So it has our online store, which is super cool. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh yeah, this camera. Okay, so when you look at how we condensed this section like this, so we cut it all and it looks flat, right? But if I take a vertical piece of this section, this is the kind of stuff that I just love and where I think everybody should kind of pay attention to. Look at this. So when I comb it out vertically, what's our angle going to be? It's just like cutting it straight up in the air, right? So, but it gets it all done in one. So if you look at it, I can get my shirt there. Here. So you can see a straight line, and that straight line is cut all at once, condensed through. So that's the beauty of cutting something horizontally, but using that over direction. That stuff is awesome. That's what I like. So now when I comb this down, here's what's going to happen. These layers are going to be a little shorter than the rest of the hair. They're not going to totally blend yet, but that's okay. I want to really go in and cut this hair a little bit shorter anyways when I get towards the end of this cut. So I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just focused on the interior part of this haircut. Okay. So now, how are we going to cut the heavier side to make it kind of match up to feel the same as this side? What I want to do is I want to cut two different sections. So we're going to take this side section here, and let me see if I want to move the camera. So I'm going to comb this hair up, directly up. Yeah, move a little bit. Okay. So this is going to come directly up and over top of the head, just like that. I'm going to grab my guide from underneath here again, and this is going to help collapse this entire section So I'll point cut across, just like we did on the other one. I'm also not worried about going past my second knuckle because I'm not worried about the tension in this part of the cut as much. So now that drops down. This will have a concave kind of effect in the interior part, which is exciting because I want this to collapse a little bit. Then the top part of this section, I'm going to over direct even more and cut it even a little bit shorter. Mio, that's a long question. I'll have to look that up again. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this top section that's going to be the heaviest, and I'm grabbing a little bit from my previously cut side, the weak side, and that's going to be my guide. I'm going to bring it all the way over to me. This side of the head. There's my guideline right there, and I'm going to cut across. So just like this. Oh. And cut. So now, what do we get? We get a line vertically that is short to long and falls, and the layers start a little bit shorter right there. So we're removing some extra weight from the heavy side, not cutting these the same, but the overall appearance will be more balanced because each side is cut based on its density, not based on how I cut the other side. All right, hair's getting dry here. So now before I move into the fringe, I'm going to cut my baseline. So I want to hit it with some moisture here. So Adele's asking, why are you bringing it to you? And the reason for that is if I bring it, the further I brought it over, the more over direction it has, the shorter the layers will be, and the more weight it will be taken out. So my goal was to remove extra weight and to kind of connect it through to the other side. Curly hair gets so dry so fast. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my perimeter. You could also do this dry, but I want to diffuse this and I want it to really look nice right away. I tend to, because then you could go in and cut the perimeter, but I want to take quite a bit of length off of this based on its current quality level, I guess you could say. So if a customer came in to me and had quite a bit of weak ends like this, I would definitely talk them into not removing a ton of hair, but just getting it to the point where it was healthy. So here, Nayla, I think you're right on with it. You get it. Okay, so here we go. Turn her around. Oh, geez. Suzanne. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad I can explain it for you to understand it. It's the only thing I can explain. I'm really bad at explaining anything else. If you have side bangs, do you part it like you have it there to cut it? Yes, Paula. I'm actually going to cut the side bang in the end. So prepare yourself. It's coming. All right, guys. So I'm going to part this straight down the center. And then I'm just going to take some horizontal sections around. Now, here's the thing. I don't have to cut all of the hair. That's why I do this last. I only have to cut the hair that gets to the bottom. So my layers are already there. See if I can, there we go. So what I'll do is I'll take, depending on what I want the outer perimeter line to be, I'll take a slight diagonal forward parting. I'm actually going to do that nice and clean. In the salon, I probably wouldn't use a clip here, just for longer hair, but for your viewing pleasure, let me clip this nice and tight. So just like that, and then my finger angle will mimic. So we went over this in the VCC today. So my finger angle will mimic. I'm going to cut a good amount because she has pretty damaged hair. Her ends are pretty damaged. So I want to remove as much as I need to, because the internet will tear me apart if her hair doesn't look beautiful at the end of this. So I'm being selfish, taking what I need. Irina, thank you. Why didn't you cut the perimeter first? So here's one thing that I'm very so we learn in school to cut the perimeter and then base the layering off the perimeter. I like to cut the layers and then cut this is all different. So it's hard to think about it this way, and we talk about this all the time. These things are all separate to me. Like, none of it is together. The layers are not together with the baseline. The baseline has nothing to do with the face frame or the side of the head. The bangs have nothing to do with the face frame. Like, none of it. It's all cut separate to live on that part of the head. We did not cut the occipital bone down. So basically, what I did was I determined exactly what length I wanted the layers to be. Then when I knew what length I wanted the layers to be, now I go through and cut my baseline, because I only have to cut so much. I don't have to cut all of it. If I cut my baseline first, I'm going to go through do an entire one length haircut. Then I'm going to have to go in and layer it. Or it would be the opposite, where you learn in school, where you would cut a baseline real quick like this, and now I'd start layering it from that, but I don't want to layer from that. I want a nice thick baseline, and then I want layers throughout it. So that's my thought process. So hopefully that helps you guys. And if you want to learn more about it, I really encourage you guys. I know it's $50 a month, but I promise you it's worth it. We meet every single week and we cut hair together over Zoom. And we break down all of these things. So if you want to be a part of it, just download our app, FSE Now, sign up, and get going with it, because we just launched our fundamentals today, which is a lot of what I'm talking about now. And then, then we have other stuff, but it's just a one-on-one. Like I can tell you how everybody in there cuts hair. It's a much different experience. So here we go. Or just keep being on here asking questions. Totally cool too. So here, see, I don't have much hair left to cut. So that's another reason. I mean, that is really the reason why I cut this baseline last, because then I don't have to do much. It's just finish it off. She had shoulders, I cut it on her back, that nice blunt line. So let me let down the rest of this side here. Nothing left to cut. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Yeah, Cindy, I think a lot of people do cut the perimeter last, but it's definitely like in school I was taught to cut perimeter first and then build the haircut off of that. And for me, I just, it doesn't make sense anymore as I've learned to cut hair. It doesn't make sense to to choose your interior layer length based on the outer perimeter. That's just way too basic. It's not gonna, that haircut's not gonna fit anybody. Here we go. So Joanne saying, I need to buy a new mannequin. I would love to join. So this is the thing. So also members of the VCC are going to get discounted rates on Pivot Point mannequins. I worked that deal with Pivot Point, so I'm very thankful for them. And we try to make the best out of all the mannequins. So knowing like every class isn't a full haircut, so that you can use the mannequin over and over and over again. So it doesn't even cost you a ton more money. So that's a good thing. All right, so this should be the last section here. Bring it down, cut that length. Let's see, let me comb the rest. Yep, good. Interior layers, Karen, great question, really great question. So she's saying interior layers connected to the perimeter give a cut more of a rounded shape. She's asking that question. So Karen, I would say it depends. If you connect it, so the way that we look at haircutting, we kind of look at it more from a vertical and horizontal standpoint. So vertically, it might have more of a rounded appearance if you connected it in. Let me go here, here. So it might have more of a rounded appearance. If you connect the layers from the bottom and you kept bringing them out like this, it would create a rounded line vertically. But it depends, because you could connect to the bottom and just come straight up, and then the bottom could be here and you could cut it this way, and it would be less rounded, be more concave feeling. So it really just depends on how you lift that hair. But again, I just knew, so when I hold the hair out like this and I cut it, and I cut this layer at this length, I know I'm cutting it because I want this layer to fall like right in this area. If I cut the base and then I build my layers off of that and I get to the end here and my layer's now not this long, it's this long because I built it off of the base, then now I have a Christmas tree effect haircut because it's just shooting, it's just building out from the base. So that's kind of why I don't like to go in and cut that base and then build off of it. Nothing really good is going to come from that, in my opinion. Now, you can take my opinion for whatever it is, but how can you cut hair without... So Adele, you're part of the cutting club, and I don't ever want to hear that question again. I'm just kidding. How can you cut hair without clipping the hair away? You always clip the hair away, Adele. Always clip the hair away because it keeps it clean. And like we talked about in class the last 2 days when we got together, you are creating a parting and you're basing the haircut in the perimeter line or the weight line off of that parting, right? So when we look at this here, so now I'm going to separate the front and the back. I've got the hair that wants to fall into the back. That's good. Look at it. And now I'm going to take a horizontal parting. Okay, Adele, good. All right, so now I'm going to take a horizontal parting towards the face, comb through this permed hair. So right here, horizontal, comb it down. Not much to cut there. This is the side that we elevated the entire thing, so there won't be a lot to cut. It's just really smoothing it out, connecting it through. Because some people do it. Oh, here, go back. Some people cut hair without sectioning, and that there are times where it's okay, but we're not at that time yet. And I wouldn't even put it in your mind that, I wouldn't put it in anybody's mind when unless they're like, you know, I don't know. I don't really know when you wouldn't section. You just should section hair. It's helpful. It keeps you consistent. And like we talk about, when you're cutting hair and I have a guide, so that's my guide, I'm bringing the hair in my fingers, following that guide. So my comb follows that line, my fingers follow that line, and I use it as a guideline along with the guide that comes from the interior. So there's nothing left to cut here. So that's good. And now we're going to finish the last side over here. Right here, horizontal line across. You're welcome, Adele. Awesome, Nancy. Glad to hear that clicked. It's very, very cool. All right. I want that to be cleaner. I'm trying my best to get better at this, to not ever half-ass anything that I'm doing in a haircut. And ever since then, my results are a million times better because I take my time and I get the sectioning exactly the way that I want it before I cut hair. Cutting hair off is easy. Like I can cut this section off, no problem. What I can't do is comb it awesome every time. Good. Combing is the hard part. Sectioning is the hard part. Some of the best hair cutters I know, I watch, obsess over sectioning and different ways of looking at how you do hair and cut hair. Wayne Burns. So where do I get my heads? So these are all from Pivot Point. This is the Gwen head. I actually really like Gwen because first she has blonde hair, so it's easy to color it. If I want to throw a color technique on there or something, it shows up nice. Second, she doesn't have a ton of hair, so like when I'm doing haircuts and teaching classes, I can get the class done faster. Not faster, but none of my classes are fast, but more efficient, I guess you could say. And that's pretty much it. And she's the cheapest one, I believe, for Pivot Point. So Savannah, the classes are every Monday and every Tuesday. So Tuesdays we do fundamental classes, which is a 4-week kind of course that you can jump in at any time because you can see the past ones and watch them. But they're every single week. So for $50 a month, it's a subscription. You become part of the cutting club. You get all the alerts through the app. You get the Zoom links through the app, and then you go in and on Monday you log into the Zoom, and then it works that way. So then I see you, I watch you cutting hair, you watch me cutting hair. We do the class. I can hear you talking. You can do it right over your phone, which is really nice. And then from that, Tuesdays, so we do creative classes on Mondays. We go through different techniques. And then Tuesdays is a very strong focus on sectioning, parting, understanding our fundamental system. So this mannequin, I honestly don't know how much it is, Adele. So you can find it on Pivot Point's website for sure. I'm not sure how much it is. All right, so all we have left is the fringe, and then we can start diffusing. So here we go. So I'll let down my fringe area. Now remember, we got a side parting. So we're going to be working off of that. And we can decide, what do we want this fringe to look like? In wavy hair, it's obviously important to understand that it's going to pop up a little bit. So making sure that you have the right length is important. I usually go, kind of a standard rule for me is, if I'm going to cut it at the nose, to be sitting at the nose like kind of a fringy area, then I'd probably cut it at the chin. So I go about 2 inches. Then when I blow it dry, I can see how long it is and then do some techniques to cut it a little bit shorter if I need to, or maybe it's fine. But that's kind of my golden rule there. Okay, so now we got the rest of the hair here. Bridget, thank you. Okay. So here's the technique. So I'm going to do just a kind of a side face frame. I don't want to cut much of a bang in this because I actually want to use it again. I don't want to make this mannequin go away. I like to do some more wavy cuts. Again, this is a wavy cut, not curly, but she will be pretty curly when we style it. But I know there's people out there who be like, I have way curlier hair than that. I get it. I know you do. And that's okay. Some people have wavy hair. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to bring this hair over to me. And because she has this curly hair, I want to do a couple things. So I'm going to show you guys a fun technique to come over here, zoom in. This is going to be cutting a curly side bang. Should be pretty fun. So we'll come over here. It's going to be long. Remember, chin. I'm going to go chin length here. Make sure we're good. So first off, I cut my length. Need to make sure my camera angle's good. Okay. So here we go. Right here. Bring it over to the chin. And I first cut my line. So now I have my line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave. You guys have seen this. This is something, whoops, sorry. So this is something fun for me to just get some shorter lengths in there. So let me go through, pop. Like that. Take this section and then just kind of work through it. So now you get the same kind of line, but you get two different lengths, which is a short and long. So they kind of go together when we toss it over to the other side. So I'm going to do it again. Diagonal. And I'm working off of a pivot too. So we're pivoting from here to here to here, over to the hairline, and then we stop. Going right here. I think I saw Jacob Kahn, good pal, do this one. I don't know if he did it in a fringe, but I thought it looked interesting, so I tried it out. So I go here, I got my guideline, cut, scoop, guideline, cut. Now take this entire section, like that, work through it. Oh, you silly. Here we go. We go a little deeper. Okay, so now got the hair, a little bit of sliding, cut through, half closing the scissor, sliding through it. One more. Bring it over. Find your guide. There it is. Cut. Bring it into my hand. Just slide it down and then cut into it. So it's a much lighter feel to the ends of the hair. I think that's good. And then we're going to do one section on this side. He is funny. You are correct. So here is the deal. He's way funnier than me. You guys should go check him out. So here we go. I bring this section over. Got a guide from the other side. And all I'm going to do is keep this nice and low. So Paula, if you download the FSE Now app, you can see where all the tools that I use through the shop on there. Just like that. And cut. Okay. So now, one thing I want to do is just connect this a little bit. Just going to slide in. Okay. So now we've got a nice layered haircut on wavy hair. I'm going to, how far up from the ends are you doing that weave? About 2 inches, Savannah, about 2 inches. I wouldn't go much deeper than that just because you definitely don't want the lengths to be that extreme. On curly hair, maybe on like thicker hair you could. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this thing with some products. So let me talk you through some of my favorite tips here. Gel, foam, and cream. Cool. I've got this to finish. All right, so this is pretty cool. So here's a little curly wavy hair regimen for you guys. So I've got this one. So this is the Tea Tree Lavender Mint Defining Gel. So I'm going to put that in my hand. Hey, Joni, what's up? Then I've got the Lavender Mint Curl Refresh. Let's see if I'll take her face away first. There it is. This is a foam. Put that in my hand. Mix those two things together. And then the last little cocktail is the Lavender Mint Taming Cream. And I'll put a little bit. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Yes. So I'll put a little bit of that in the cocktail as well. Now, We'll mix these products together. And I'm going to start on her thirsty ends and work my way through the rest of her hair. Zelda, what's up? The smell is nice. I'm about to fall asleep. Okay. So you really want to feel the product on the ends of the hair. You want to feel it on all the hair, to be honest, but you want to really work that product through. Then I start to work it towards the base, towards the ends. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this cream base. On the sides here. And then let's get a little bit more towards the front in the fringe area. Mannequin is smiling, so happy. This is why I like mannequins more than models, because she always is smiling. And even if the models are happy, sometimes they're not smiling. And then the whole world of YouTube likes to let you know about it. Thank you, YouTube. All right. So here we go. So I got those products through. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play bowling with my other products. So I'm going to take this brush, my Ergo paddle brush here, and I'm going to work it vertically through the hair. So I want to work that product scalp to ends. Now, a lot of people don't think about this. I'm pulling, stretching that curl out. That's okay. I want to get this product on everything. She has curly hair. It's not going anywhere. So I just comb it all the way through vertically, detangling the hair, working that product through every strand. The biggest mistake that we make with curly hair or any hair in general is we don't get the products on everything. And if you don't have the products on some of the hair, then you're not going to have a successful style. So right here, work my way through. Now I'm going horizontal with the brush, really working that product in. You should have enough product where you start to see it on that brush coming off the hair. So now I've got enough product in the hair, and I'm going to take this into sections. Right here, here's my fringe. I'm going to comb that up. I'm going to twist it down and leave it. I'm going to take another section like this, vertical, comb it out from the head. Now it's important to me that I comb this out from the head, and I might even do it in two different sections. So I got one here. This is going to fall a little bit lower. So I comb this hair up, I twist it at the scalp. Right here, comb this out, twist it. I want the hair to be nice and smooth. There we go. Now, vertical again. I'm going to split this in half, the parietal. Comb it up. Smooth it out, twist it up. Oh. Now, good one, Mary the Muse. Okay. And I'm just working my way around the head. Adding in, just breaking up these sections into two. I'll do that on the top, on this heavy part, but then on the weaker side I won't. I'll just do it one section. I'm doing the same direction, the twisting's not necessarily, it's really just to separate it. And then what I'm going to do is start to break up those twists as I style it. But to start the heating process, I want them to be in that kind of twisted feel and just to really reactivate the curl. So here. All right, so Mio's saying that they do it exactly like this. They use more blocks. Yep, cool. Blocks are good too. I mean, technically blocks could even be a little better, but just because it's a little less over direction, depending on how you take them. But I'm just taking these vertical, they're like rectangular sections out and just twisting them up. So you're just working that product through. This is why diffusing, so this is another thing. Diffusing is kind of made out to be like a quicker thing. I don't think it is. I think you're going to spend, if not more time, doing this than an actual just quick round brush blow dry. So, but I think it's worth it in the outcome. Say too much product weighs the hair down. You don't think so? Not on curly hair. Like if it was fine hair, then I would say, or fine straight hair, yeah, probably would weigh it down. But this is curly, wavy, medium hair, so you can't use too much product. Like curly hair needs a lot of product because it's dry. If their curly hair doesn't feel dry, then go ahead, don't use as much. But I definitely recommend using much. All right, let me go the overhead. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's the whole point. CK Forrester. It just creates less frizz because it's more of a controlled thing. So here's the fringe. Now I'm going back off the face this way. Same thing, working vertical. And this is the weak side, so there's not a lot of bend in the hair. So I can really go this whole section, twist it. Another thing I like to make sure is when I do start to twist the section, that it's not pulling more in one direction than the other. So that way you don't end up with a weird bump in the hair. Arena, thanks. This is definitely not my idea, but I'm glad I could deliver it to you all. We're almost there. Then we can start diffusing. You guys can start to see what this will look like. So I'm just breaking these sections up. I just don't want to take too much hair at once. Thank you, Depika. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you for hanging in there with me every week. Glad you guys like all the videos. Really I know you guys enjoy the videos, but I enjoy the fact that making those videos for you is my job. And it's pretty awesome that I get to do that all the time. So thank you to you guys. Thanks, John. So the twist is done in opposite directions. Maria, yeah. So the twist is done in opposite directions on each side. So all off the face. Wait, no. Towards the face. Off the face. But not for any real particular reason. I don't think it's really going to change a lot because I'm going to start to remove these twists and just diffuse it as I go. The biggest difference is that the twist is really just activating the curl back into the hair and giving it a purpose to kind of really just get that product on every single strand. So that's really what it's all about. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, guys. All right. Almost there. 4 more. Yeah, and no tangles. That's right. Well, the key too, like to not getting frizz is to make sure you don't put your hands into it too much when you start to dry it. So as the hair starts to dry, if you're moving it around with your dry hands, then the hair starts to get frizzier and frizzier. So this kind of stops that process and allows you to not have to touch the hair so much. You just put these little curls into the diffuser. This is it. Sweet. The moment we've all been waiting for. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to diffuse. While I diffuse, I'm going to play a little music because the blow dryer is loud. But just know the few tips that we're going to talk about. We got our diffuser attachment. What this does, it calms the air down, the airflow through the hair. So it's not direct air hitting the hair. It kind of spins it and diffuses it. So then these little fingers can help hold some of this in the nozzle. So I'm going to connect that on. I'm going to run this at high heat, low airflow. So I want it to be like if you're using a Dyson blow dryer, I'm going to have it down to the 1 on the airflow and 3 on the heat. And then we'll just start setting her hair in it. Now what I'll do as I work with my clients is I'll tilt her head to the side and have her just kind of sit there. Now this is a beneficial thing to understand that your client's head will move. And I'll just go in section by section and work those like curls into it and then let them start to come to life. So here we go. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's see. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is the part where you guys, see if I can pop over here. So this is the part where you guys put up the dancing emojis and then we play music and you guys have fun in the chat, get to know each other, have a good time. Blow drying is, it's going to happen pretty quick, but just have fun. Alrighty, so what do you guys think? Where are we at here? Let's see. Yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. So, Katerina, I think is your name. So you had a great question earlier. You were saying, was I using the cold shot on the dryer, like cold air to finish it? So I used the hot air, obviously, to get it dry. And then I went in with no cold air. So I just kind of let the hair cool on its own, because if I wanted it to be a tighter curl, then I would have hit it with that cold shot right initially after, because that will set it exactly where it's at. I wanted this to be a little bit looser. We're talking wavy hair today, which is more kind of my speed. So that's, that was our focus. But if you wanted something even curlier, a little bit bigger, you could go in and definitely hit it with that cold shot. It's a great question. Thank you guys so much. I see all of your very nice comments about the cut. I'm pretty psyched about it. It's always a unique thing for me, like a challenge for me to try to get curly hair as less frizzy as possible. I mean, this was a straight mannequin. So you guys got to understand, she had straight hair and we permed her blonde processed hair. Well, Danielle did. And so to me, it's a pretty good result. I want you guys to see the shape of the haircut, so you can see how we pop some volume into that heavy side, so you can see the volume in it, but then you can see the thickness and the full feeling of the weak side, and that's kind of the goal, so that you don't get that Christmas tree effect, which we talked about at the beginning. You don't get that Christmas tree effect. You get more of a balanced, kind of rounded, not round, but a nice soft effect to the layers throughout the cut. So yeah, I really dig the overall look. Look at all that curl. You can see the shape in the side of the head here. You can see that kind of balance. This is all that round layers that we did throughout the back. Just really gives it a beautiful balanced look throughout. You don't have any of these layers trying to dive down because of the weight. So that works really good. Hairspray does create frizz, but I'm trying to hold it in the spot because it's alcohol and it's dry. So you got to think all of the products that we put in the hair prior to the hairspray was all about moisturizing and being healthy in the hair and controlling the hair in that way. Then obviously when I spray it with hairspray, it's really just for this final spin around. But yeah, I wouldn't do hairspray in my curly guest hair really too much. So you can see, there is our final look. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. Love to hear that. We're going to sum things up. I want to show you guys the FSE Now app real quick. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's class. And know that we are live. I'm going to be live here. I'm live every Tuesday on YouTube and Facebook. On Minerva's Facebook as well. Oh, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to clear out my space here so I can talk to you guys. All right, so what do we think? What do we think? Let me go to this camera. All right. Love the look, very cool. Thank you guys. Sterling, thank you so much. The Reese's cup. Sounds delicious. Katerina, thank you so much. Mio, appreciate it. See if I can get some of your guys' comments up there. There you go. Mio is a cool name. Lisa, thank you so much. Adele, appreciate it. Let's see, Yale. Thank you so much. Glad you guys like the tutorials. Definitely check out the FSE Now app. I want to show you guys one thing here. Here's the app. Before I go, a couple new features of the app. Spin over here. So here it is. So this is FSE Now. So if you haven't downloaded it, go look for this logo, type in FSE Now on the App Store, go to freesaloneducation.com, and you can type it in there. These are all the upcoming virtual hands-on classes that we have That's part of the VCC, the Virtual Cutting Club, where you make me your cutting coach. And I would love to be your cutting coach on a weekly basis. We get together every Monday morning and Tuesday morning, and we cut hair together over Zoom. And I get to watch you guys. You can get a mannequin, you can have a model, whatever you want, and we do hair together. So upcoming classes for that, we have the cutting fundamentals was today. We have shape using over direction. We're going to be focusing on that on Monday. And it's just a really fun group. There's only about 30 of us at this point. So, I'd love to have you a part of it. It's very intimate. I get to know you and I get to watch you cut hair. Then also all the latest videos, classes, everything that we do gets posted right here on the app as well. So you can see any of these upcoming free classes. You'll get alerts about them. And then if you are a cutting club member, you can see who is it? Frumi right here. She's got her little blue check mark. That blue check mark, you can send me a message directly through the app and I can answer you if you have any questions about cutting hair or anything. You can post them through there. And also you become the first in line on our Stylist Locator website so that people can find you. So they can get their haircut by you as well. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and then you can also click on the shop button now, which is part of the app, and you can browse all the tools that you saw me use in the video today. You can purchase those right through our website on the app as well. And then you can make your own cool profile and let everybody know they can see your work. We've got a whole community of hairdressers on there. Oh, there's Susan. There's the community right there. Everybody's sharing their work on there. Very, very cool. I love seeing everybody's stuff. So thank you to everyone that is a part of the app. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone being a part of this class today. And thank you to Minerva Beauty right there, minervabeauty.com. Great company. They've been supporting supporting Free Salon Education for a very long time. They've been one of our longest sponsors. So they're all about helping hairdressers, especially through this quarantine. When we launched this whole kind of virtual learning thing, they were all a part of it. They were bringing on special guests and all this different stuff. So they've always been a huge supporter of the beauty industry and what I'm doing at Free Salon Education. So I can't thank them enough. And if you guys are looking to upgrade your salon furniture, go to minervabeauty.com or go follow them on Facebook because we're doing giveaways all the time of different blow dryers, tools, and different things. So how can we follow you on there? So Joanna, all you have to do is go on there and you can search stylist name. So right here, if you look at the app, so if you go here and you go to this search button, I can actually search for any stylist. So there's Anise, she's part of our cutting club, so you can see her blue check mark. But you just click on somebody's profile and then let me follow Anise right there. So I hit follow and then you're following them and then they show up on your feed. So when I look at here and I go to who I'm following, all of this is the people that I follow on my feed. So you can follow different hairdressers and become part of that community as well. Everybody, most people that are on here on this chat are on this as well. So I'd love to get you guys being more active on there and talking and, continuing this conversation so it's not just once a week and we're doing it all the time. All right. You guys are the best. I really appreciate all of you. Gotta run. It's been really fun. But what do we say at the end of the day? It's going to be a great day. And thank you guys so much. I'll see you later.
Chop it, clip it, spray
Thank you.
it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you.